The Protection and Policy Committee for February 24th, 2020 is ready to rock and roll. We are in session. Let's do our roll call. Alder Stoyer.
Here.
Alder Stevens.
Here.
Alder Vanderleest.
Here.
And Alder Scannell is present. All are accounted for.
Sounds serious.
That's okay. Take your time. Don't worry. No pressure. It's our first time doing this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. I'll take a motion to approve our agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Alder Vanderleest, seconded by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda for tonight. I'll take a motion to approve our minutes from the February
Sorry.
10th, 2020
Hold on,
meeting.
hold
on.
Oh,
Just 1 second.
sorry.
So
Yep,
sorry.
Yep.
Way too fast. for
Yep,
me.
I'll slow it down.
So Alder Vanderleest, seconded by Alder Stevens.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I'll take a motion to approve our minutes.
Second.
Motion by Alder Stevens, seconded by Alder Stoyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, our minutes are approved. And I'm assuming that includes the seconds.
Absolutely.
Okay. Did it wrong, but we're good.
You did it wrong, but we're good? Okay.
I can fix it.
On to regular business. Item 1, consideration with possible action on a request by Antonio Soto for Taqueria El Local at 1615 University Avenue to remove basement and add storage room to his licensed premise description on the Class B beer license. Staff.
So this is the one that we had previously heard at the January 27th PNP meeting. There was an issue because the storage would have been in the basement of the grocery store and they would have had to cross the licensed premise to get to the Class B establishment. My understanding is that they have now created a storage space for the restaurant. So they're asking to remove the storage, the basement from the licensed premise for the restaurant liquor license and add the storage room. That's the first item, and then the second item, just to get it all out all at once, because they will no longer be storing things for the restaurant in the basement of the grocery store, then that can all be one licensed premise. And staff doesn't have any objection to either.
Please concur to both as well.
Yeah, good pictures.
That's good.
Pictures seem like everything's in order. Good work.
I make a motion.
Yep.
Unless I'd make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder Stoyer.
Second.
Seconded by Alder Stevens.
Are we approving 1 and 2?
No, this is just one. There were two parts.
What you talked about 2.
Sorry.
Yeah, right, but not item 2, just the second part of the condition of the, this one, yep. Okay.
It's in his district,
Yep,
not in your district.
no, I think it's,
So, where are we at?
we're adding a motion to approve by Alder Stoyer, seconded by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, before we go any further, I should say, everything we do here at committee is just recommendation to council. Council meets March 4th?
It's the first Tuesday.
First
Third?
Tuesday of March?
Third.
Yep.
March 3rd,
March 3rd.
6 o'clock.
Don't come March 4th, March 3rd, at 6 o'clock in the room right next door. So, but shouldn't be any, should be fine. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
On to number 2. Consideration with possible action on an application for a Class A beer license for Antonio Soto. What's the second one then, that you spoke of?
Yes.
Okay. At 1615 University Avenue with a licensed premises, description as beer sold in grocery store, stored in beverage, beer, fridge, extra beer in upper storage and main level, previously held at the January 27th, 2020 Protection and Policy Committee meeting.
Motion to approve.
Staff has no objection.
Yep.
Please concur.
Yep.
Second.
Motion by Alder Stevens, seconded by Alder Steuer. We're gonna flip.
Not personal.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Consideration with possible action on an appeal by Cheryl Sranich regarding the denial of her operator's license. I really should bring readers. Yeah, ooh, that does good.
No, I don't have them.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
No,
Staff.
that's okay.
So staff's recommending denial of this appeal as the appellant is a convicted felon and a habitual law offender for offenses that substantially relate to the licensed activity. And you have the arrest and conviction record memo in front of you.
Okay.
Please concur.
Do the boxes in the middle because I'm out to.
Yep.
Motion to open the floor.
Motion to open the floor by Alder Stevens.
Second.
Seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the floor is now open. Care to come forward? Yep. And then for the record, state your name and address.
Cheryl Sarnish, 1114 Rolling Lane.
Okay, and
Well, I brought a copy of my discharge certificate from probation, and I haven't gotten any new charges in over 10 years. So.
okay, yep, can we? Yep. And here you might want to look at that. Any questions or?
Where's your current place of employment, ma'am?
I am at Covers right now, and 3.
Did you bring any letters of recommendation from your employer?
I did not bring one from my employer. I reached out to my previous probation officer on an email and asked her if she could write a letter of recommendation. She stated to me that she would have to clear it with her supervisor, and I haven't heard anything back. I do have that email if you would like to see that she didn't completely deny it because I'm a horrible person.
No one thinks that.
That's all I have.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, and you do realize that it's state law that makes any felon, the staff automatically kicks it to the committee to
Okay.
interpret the law, which does leave some wiggle room, as you noted in your letter.
Well,
So,
yeah, I do have my bartending license for Howard and Grand Chute.
okay, and how long have you had those?
Grand Chute probably 6 months, and Howard probably 4 months.
Can you repeat again where you, I didn't hear it, where you work right now?
V3 and Gippers.
And where?
Gippers.
Oh, Kippers, okay,
Good food there.
okay.
Anything else you care to add?
I don't think so.
How long have you been working at Gippers?
Huh?
How long have you been working at Gippers?
I just started today.
Thank you. Motion
Motion to close the floor?
Motion goes to the floor by Alder Steuer, seconded by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Floor is closed, gentlemen.
I noticed 2008 was the felony,
Yep.
so we're talking 12 years.
Yep.
So that bodes well for me a little bit more, 12 years, so.
Yeah.
I'm, I don't know, pretty comfortable with that. It would be nice to have some letters, but again, that always helps.
Anything else?
I'd say I'd like to give her another chance, get her license so she can be employable.
Yep, and she's already got liquor license from 2 other municipalities, so I think we could take the plunge.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder Stevens,
I'll say.
seconded by Alder Steuer. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. It'll become official once it goes through council next week, or on the March 3rd.
Okay. Do I need to stay for the rest of
If you want, but when you're, you are free to go.
She went this
Oh, did you need the,
Yeah,
Sure.
you need
yeah,
that.
thanks,
Thank you, guys.
certainly.
All right. Can you read?
Yeah, oh, I think so. Well, it won't hurt. Thank you. Number 4, consideration with possible action and appeal by Rob St. Aubin at 1165 North Street regarding the denial of exotic animal permit. Staff? Gonna go right to Officer Mavis?
Good evening.
Morning.
Good evening.
Good. And yourself?
Good to see you.
Good?
Good. So I had received a complaint, which is routed from city inspections to myself on January 13th with regard to the resident possibly raising rabbits and birds in the garage, and that there was a concern of dumping waste byproducts out the window and running it off into the neighboring yard. Looking at priors at the address, which was 1165 9th Street, there was probably about 19 or 20 calls to the address in about a 10-year time span. And a lot of them appeared to be inspection complaints, neighborhood complaints, and that sort of thing. I did go over to the address and I observed a detached garage which housed approximately 20 quail and 2 ducks. I did meet with the resident, Robert St. Aubin, made contact with him. I inspected the garage unit where he has his setup, and I told him, I said, to get into compliance, you have to apply for a permit. He did immediately submit a permit application. When I went in, there was a concern that I had. He has a pond inside the garage unit, and I was not sure if that would be something that inspection would be okay with, so I called Brenda Seidel over. She's one of the inspectors for that area, to just come over and take a look at it to ensure that there wasn't any code violations or anything that could be a liability if someone were to go in there and drown. She had no issues with it. There was no electrical concerns. There was a slight odor, but that's pretty common with birds. I sent out neighborhood letters. I don't know if you guys need to know where those neighborhood letters went.
I think we got,
Well, some, but it'd be nice to know. the
Right, I
numbers.
did indicate in there, quite a few of them did come back, and the concerns were obviously over an odor, the noise, the runoff. Someone did send photographs of the runoff into one of the neighboring properties, which they reported was deteriorating their landscape. And so I felt, based on the number of objections that came back, I didn't feel comfortable in approving of it, and I thought that it would be best addressed by the alderperson and city council. And I let Robert know that I would have to deny the permit, and he could appeal it before city council to make that decision, just so that there isn't future fallout from this sort of application.
Should I say so? I mean,
well,
I
we'll
need-
get there. When we,
Yeah, fine.
I think for Officer Davis. When was the last time you were over there? Anything recently? Because it sounds like some improvements have been made.
The last time that I was over there would have been the 15th. So I went over there the 13th, and then I went over there the 15th, just to follow up with inspections. And at that time, everything was okay, because there's no filtration device and electrical.
So it's just the neighbors, basically, is the big
It
concern.
seems that there is a very lengthy chronic history between some of the neighboring properties, and it seems that they're either notifying police or inspections, and it is quite lengthy history from what I've observed, so.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We could open the floor.
Motion to open the floor.
Motion open the floor by Alder Stevens.
Second.
Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The floor is now open if
Do
you.
I need
care-
to say something ahead of time?
Well,
Or wait till we?
No, we can, we'll have time to us to speak. Let's get all the.
All right, that's fine.
Can I show you the pictures now?
Certainly. And did you, first state your name and address.
Rob St. Aubin, 1165 9th Street, Green Bay.
Okay, and if you haven't filled out one of the forms.
I did.
Okay, then we're good. Super.
These are all the corrections that I made
Okay.
to the property. That's also addressing the noise complaints. diagnosed with breast cancer.
Well, I have no doubt of that. I mean, I'm not certainly making that up.
Yeah.
And this was just a little write-up. I did.
How large is a quail's egg?
It's not big.
Size of a robin egg.
How big is the run?
It takes 5 of them to equal a chicken egg.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, we should just start with the vote, obviously,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And those are pictures of the new runoff that were those issues, which goes to my garden in the middle of my backyard.
And inspection has been, this is what they've approved, so you're good with inspection? Okay.
So Brenda Seidel did see that.
Yeah. I showed her the way I was going to put it.
That was actually at the site.
Okay, you'll have to just disclose that information,
Yeah, I'll tell you.
public.
I'm just gonna do it early, if you don't mind.
Yep, you can go first. Well, let's wait until he's completely finished, okay, and then when we're,
All right.
Everything is drained to the west of the garage. The issue was I was draining it out the window, which was the east side of my garage, and there was a span between 5 feet by like 15 feet of length, and that's what was running off into the property, which his type of fence, I couldn't see what was going in there.
Mhm.
I mean, I wasn't purposely dumping his
Right.
property. I had the hose on mine, it just ran off. That's been corrected. I don't use that window anymore.
You mentioned, Rod, that it's draining to the west, right,
Yep.
right now?
Yes, it does now.
Because I'm just thinking west, I mean, that, it's very close to the lot line, correct?
It's in the middle of my backyard, 14 feet from the lot line.
Would that be the east? Wouldn't that be to the east?
East, you're right, I'm sorry.
Okay, I was just thinking,
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah, okay. I'm good with that.
how long have you been doing this?
Just shy of 2 years.
2 years, okay.
I look back on my records and I bought them in 18.
So was there, you know, obviously there's been a little bit of discord between the neighbors and yourself on this, but has this been going on for the 2 years, or has it been just fairly recent?
In
What's
the
the
3
time?
years I knew that guy, I talked to him 3 times in 12 years.
Okay.
Otherwise, you know, I'm used to growing up. If you have a problem, you come to me, I fix the problem. But
Was
I
his
never
the-
talked to him.
Was his the yard that the damage was being done underneath the fence, and now that's being
There was a
addressed?
little residue from,
It was just a
the
little
duct
bit on the other side
into
of the
the
fence.
ground.
Yeah, we saw that. Okay. I might have some questions later, but right now.
Any questions for? Okay. Recently, have you heard anything from your neighbors? Have you reached
I've
out
heard
to them
nothing.
at all, or?
every time I go out there, he's always gone.
Okay. Any of the other neighbors?
I don't really talk to anybody.
Oh,
We're all kind of to ourselves.
no, I have no further questions. If you have anything else you care to add?
Just, my family would like to say a couple things.
Sure, certainly. Please state your name and address.
Noah, 1165 9th Street. I collect the eggs every day and help with my father.
How long does it take you to collect the eggs?
5 minutes.
Oh, you're pretty efficient.
I'm Rob's wife, Maria, 1165 9th Street, and it's really neat. I get a kick out of my 3-year-old likes to go out and collect the eggs, and kind of reminds me of like she's on an Easter egg hunt, you know, trying to find all of them, but kind of gives you the sense that we live like, you know, on a miniature little farm, the little chores that, and, you know, they enjoy helping. You know, there's like a special cutter to cut open the eggs. They enjoy helping with that, and so it's been kind of a neat little thing for us. You know, I never hear the noise at all when we're in the house, only when we're outside, and it's more of a pleasant noise, you know, nothing loud. And my husband, he's always in there cleaning it on a regular basis, so I don't think there's a concern as far as, that goes.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Elizabeth, and I like collecting the eggs, and my mom cooks them.
Do you eat them too? Are they tasty? Okay.
What color are the eggs?
White.
We're getting educated here today on
Yeah. Thank you.
No motion to close.
Motion to close the floor by Alder.
Before you close it, if you could make your disclosures in case either
Yes,
of the
well-
parties
Well-
want to respond.
Oh, to respond? Okay, that's a good idea before we, okay, good idea. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna make a disclosure. I was invited by the alder in the district, Mr. Worry, to come down to the St. Almond House, and I did do that. So I think there was, because we're quasi judicial, there was some concern that I might have a preconceived notion as far as how I was gonna vote. I would like to say for the record that I have no preconceived notion that way. I'm here to listen to testimony from both sides, and if that's okay, I'd like to continue.
I also toured the property, and it seemed like it was very clean, very orderly, inside and out. And I think a lot of improvements have been made from the early pictures to the now pictures, so I think it's a very,
Alder Vanderlis?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So rather than reporting on what the conditions were when you saw there, the main thing that we need to make sure of is that you can still be objective in
Yes, I
listening
can.
to
I
both
can be
sides.
objective on both sides.
And only consider what was discussed here tonight.
Yep. I understand what the
Awesome.
inspection department, Officer Mavis, what she mentioned, and
Great.
it sounds like she's, in other words, gave us some good information as far as how things are progressing. So I understand just
Sounds
what
good.
you're talking about.
Good.
Thank you.
My conversation.
Oh, no, you didn't have one, really.
Short one.
Short one, yes. Not really. But I did have a conversation, I did have a conversation, but I didn't go to the property, but I did give him a little advice as to how to proceed here, what we'd be looking for. I thought that was appropriate. I did not get into any of the issue per se, so I feel completely free to make a decision. So, and it'd be great to hear from the alder from the district.
Should we close the floor first?
Motion to close the floor.
The alder
No,
can,
not-
in case someone else wants to speak after he speaks or whatever, let's keep it open. I mean, he could speak anytime.
Long time no see.
Yeah, a little bit
I
there.
know. Yeah, I went to the property, it was in my district, so of course I'm gonna go to the property. And I always have an open mind. So, there. I think the issues you saw, that we saw in the email, the complaints, one, it sounds like it was resolved with the water spillage. I don't think he even knew it was affecting the neighbor, from what it sounds like. And if you take out the neighborhood letters, it sounds from what I'm hearing is the animal control officer and inspections have no issue with what was happening there. And two of those letters really are from the neighbors along the sides who haven't been the alderman for quite a long time. Putting it nicely, are very nitpicky. So they'll call in on, or write in on anything. So take that for what it's worth. The other letters, if you read them, one especially says, it's as if they didn't even know they've been there for 2 years. They said, well, it sounds like this would create. So I think if they went back and told them, oh, it's been there for 2 years, the letter says, well, this would create. Well, guess what? It's been there 2 years. And I'd be like, oh, okay, I didn't even know it. And I think that's what you'd find with the others. So I have no problem with it, knowing the lay of the land and what they've done to correct it.
Not concerned about the neighbors at all.
No.
Okay.
Zero.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
That helps a lot.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks.
Well, I don't know.
Now motion to close the, does anybody else have anything to say?
Motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor by Alder Stoyer.
Second.
Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the floor is now closed. Gentlemen?
Well, like I did disclose, I was at the property. I didn't, I think what helps me is the fact that the inspection department said there was no big issue. I think it's very important that we get input from the city staff and from Officer Mavis as well. Granted, it's a unique situation. I think, the fact you're doing these eggs also for your sister, and there's other factors involved. So it's an human interest story, to say the least, but we have to look at the safety and such of the community and what's right in that. But with that being said, the fact that I was there, I still feel that, because of the inspection department and Officer Mavis and with the alder, what they were saying, I have no problem with this.
I agree. I'll second his motion.
You concur?
That's his motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
To approve the permit? And a motion by Alder Steuer, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. Anything to add? Okay, yeah, for me, it comes down to two things. It comes down to staff, and it sounds like you've corrected everything. Staff has written it off, so then it's the neighborhood. I'm on the phone. I mentioned to you about a constituent of mine who had an issue, but he had wide community support as well as staff. Okay. So, but if the alder says it's good to go, I'm willing to go by that. I believe the new conditions have been to the point where neighbors are certainly not contacting the alder or anyone. So, as far as we know, we haven't heard any more from neighborhood complaints recently. So, looks like you're good to go. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously, becomes official when it goes through council on March 3rd, 6 o'clock.
You have to be here for
Room next door. You don't have to be. I mean, it's possible someone could pull it and object, especially if between now and then, maybe a neighbor will pop up and say, hey, so it may not hurt to be there just in case, and be prepared. But in all probability, you'll just go right through.
I just want to make one comment.
Certainly.
I think that, going forward, if you just pay real close attention to the, as far as have a good, clean operation and probably won't hear from anybody, and, just be for your benefit to keep everything just right on target. That would be my suggestion. Thank you.
All right, we voted, correct? And we're all set to go? All right. On to our next item. Number 5, consideration with possible action on the review of bike pub route in the city to change from specific routes to route districts. That's me. That's why you're here.
No, I got nothing else going.
Yeah, I'll look forward.
Yeah, staff?
Actually going to defer.
Okay, well, yep. But before, perhaps, I should just, I put in this communication, and I heard, we have a bike club in town, and the owner, the operator of it, mentioned how he's concerned in that the routes are very specific, and that if there's road work, or if there's something, and they have to deviate, he's concerned about being ticketed or fined. He'd like it if there was some language or some flexibility in the routes to allow him to deviate from the path if road work, train, some kind of obstruction or other that would allow him some flexibility as long as he's roughly in the right area, shall we say. Following the path as best as possible. So that's what's bringing this forward, is his concern about not being able to follow the path strictly, and that has happened in the past, and so he's concerned about ramifications of that if he's called out on it. So, is that a concern? Is there a way we can address that if it is?
From a police perspective, yes, it would be a concern, because what would define that would allow him to deviate? If it's because the people on the trolley or the bike just want to go over because they know someone that lives in that neighborhood. So I get if there's road construction, but if it's like, hey, we want to swing by this person's house that's a block or two off the path, but it's in now a residential neighborhood, you have the pedal bar going through the neighborhood. then if you create the district, is it gonna be a citywide district throughout the city where they can go?
No, nothing that big. It would have to be fairly well defined, just.
But there'll just be one district or multiple districts?
I think we would look at the path now and just add some flexibility to what's there, not
Okay.
add to it or extend it.
And like I
or-
said, I guess our police concern is, it gives them the flexibility. What will define their flexibility? If he says, well, that road's too rough, I don't like it, so I'm gonna go a block or two off the path because he deems he doesn't want it, he or she deem they don't wanna do it, or do there have to be certain guidelines where the road needs to be shut down, or there has to be certain guidelines to allow it? That would be our concern, just to create a district where he now has the option of choosing where he would like to go, and it could be a place that the neighborhood or people don't want him to go, but he just wants to because it might save wear and tear on it, on the pedal bike or the pedal trolley.
Okay. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a hold of him in time. It'd been good if he could have been here, but oh well. We'll proceed anyway. Is there anything? Yep.
I just was really here to get a little bit more information,
Oh.
and learn about it,
Okay.
but I probably just add a couple things. I guess the first thing that I would be concerned about is the acceleration rates of these pump cycles are variable, can be very slow. I guess the one concern I would have is if you just have one coming out at some random intersection onto, say, an arterial that's a divided roadway, and the acceleration rates kind of creates that issue with gap acceptance, to determine the proper gap to get into traffic. I could see that potentially being a problem. Another thing would be probably quality of life, and this is really not an engineering thing, but I'm kind of taking my perspective of, I do get phone calls on random things, sometimes that really aren't engineering, but I could possibly see that if these things end up in neighborhoods, on neighborhood streets, that you really kind of got roving bars that are going around. And, I kind of look at sometimes my day, a successful day is when the least amount of complaints come in. And something like this, I could easily see as coming to our office and having us, as staff, trying to explain this one out. And I don't really know if there's a real good logical explanation for that. I think that also, their concern about work zones, I think, is probably a legitimate one. However, I think that a lot of those are kind of limited. I guess probably with the exception of maybe if there's a private utility contractor that may have a lane closure here or there. But for the most part, we know where a lot of the work zones are going to be taking place. So rather than probably districting, as in, creating a court in any street is game, perhaps you just designate multiple routes, rather than just, here's one route and that's all they're sticking to. Maybe you have options of where, say, all right, you're on this route and there may be obstructions on creating a quote-unquote detour of that. It's real similar to kind of how we deal with incident management, like if the Frigo Bridge goes down and there's detour routes throughout the city. I would actually see this probably being more simple than that. But an overall district kind of seems very generic to me, and I think actually could probably cause more problems than enhance.
Yeah, and that may actually been my wording that was not as precise as what the problem he brought up, and that's probably on me.
Do you have a specific area? Like a map, something that,
I don't have, no, but
No,
we
this-
have, the city has one of what's allowed. That we did map out a route.
but it was just routes, it wasn't a big district, was it?
No, it was,
Okay, I didn't think so.
but it was a particular area. I mean, it's not beyond, it doesn't cover the whole city.
Yeah.
I got a quick
So,
question.
Yep.
On the, is this pretty much generally the Broadway district that they're using this, in other words, the trolley, I'd see them go by Kegler's and, different bars they stop at. Is
No,
this
They go down Main Street.
They go
and-
down Main too then?
Yep, and I'm not sure about
So
Washington.
they cross the bridge and they're brave.
It's my understanding that they go down Broadway, cross the bridge, and either go up Washington or they're kind of in the entertainment.
Basically the bar district.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I can
cross
understand
back
that.
over. That's their circle or their path.
Yeah. Actually, he's never had any trouble on the bridge, he told me. You would think, but,
I think that, from my perspective, from, what you're mentioning, that, it sounds like they're staying within the bar quarter, and if they're not gonna be driving down, East Mason down to the high school or.
Yeah, and I did one down in Milwaukee, and whoever's pedaling that, yeah, if they have to pedal that far, because you're pedaling, there's no gears to shift, it's one speed, and any little incline, yeah, I mean, you're pedaling like mad just to get over this. the
Oh,
bridge.
he does have a motorized, so he can help you.
Yeah, all of them do have
Oh,
that, but
but
very
they don't
rarely
use
they
it.
take in. And I agree, they probably will stay in the bar district. It's just, if all of a sudden that road is closed, or on the west side, if they want to go to like Maple, which is a couple of streets off, but the person's, it's their bachelor party and they live on Maple Street, and they're, hey, I want to go by my house. Well, then all of a sudden they're taking the Pedal Tavern, and they're deciding where to go and when to go. So I do agree with Dave that if there are set detour routes, like, okay, if this one is blocked, you're allowed to use this street or this street to get around it.
And I think that's kind of just all he's looking forward to, is just, he's had some issues where he's had to detour, and that made him very nervous. He likes to be, he likes to follow the law. He was very, he didn't get the bike until after we had passed the ordinance. He could have, but he wanted to make sure everything's kosher and good, and so that's his mindset. So he would like us to be able to have some flexibility in the route. So however, you guys think that's best, but I think we should hear from him. If I could just refer this to staff, and you could reach out to him, and I could contact him, he could reach out to you and make sure you got all his concerns and figure out what, if anything, can be done.
Sure, I think it's probably more appropriate to refer it to either PD or to Dave rather than to law, but,
If I can interject, I would think probably more appropriate to police
Okay.
department, because they're the ones that ultimately approve the route. And if they have questions or want to confer
Yep,
with
okay.
Public Works, they can.
Yep, and then you could talk to whoever you need to talk to get more input if you need, okay?
We'll reach out to him. It's the owner of
Keggers, right,
Yep.
Bill
Right.
Liebergen.
Yeah. It would be interesting just to see what other communities do, because I think Appleton has it. I mean, there's a few that have it around here, just to see what they do. I'm sure you'd check on that, maybe.
Yeah. So, I think that's just all his only concern is, to have a little flexibility for when, if he thinks, on the whole, I don't think he's had much trouble, and I think he's happy with the way things are. He just gets nervous.
And I was gonna say, from the police, I don't remember any call. I think at first
Yeah.
people were like slowing down traffic, but there's never been an issue with.
Right, but he's a very proactive kind of guy. He wants to,
Is it
which I think
time
is-
sensitive? Is this time sensitive?
no.
Well, it could be, because I know,
Because it's
for
gonna
example,
work.
this
It will.
summer, we're doing work on Howard Street. We're gonna have actually a crossing of South Broadway, which is gonna close that street it's gonna be a short amount of time, but it could affect possibly
Right.
his route.
Yep. Well, I mean, this isn't something we want to sit on, but I mean, we do have, doesn't have to be done tomorrow. I mean, we do have a
So motion just to refer to police?
motion.
I would make that motion, but
Yep.
if it's not time sensitive, in a
But-
timely manner.
Well, I think, refer to the police, and they can take.
I would say,
A month?
yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
first one in April.
Yep.
We could have it.
Okay. Well, we'll make that motion.
Okay, so I'll refer to police to come back first month in April with a recommendation to either just receive and place on file or make the changes and what the changes should be.
Second.
Motion by Alder Steuer, seconded by Alder Stevens. Any further discussion? Okay, we'll pedal on out of here. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously.
go ahead.
Okey-doke. We're on to item 6. Consideration of possible action to General Ordinance 520-20. An ordinance to amend can I borrow your reader? Thank you. 21.11 subsection 8 GBMC relating to financing of lead water service line replacement. Staff.
So I'm going to defer to Nancy on this one.
Okay.
All right,
Long time no see.
Yeah. Yay.
What I want to explain is, maybe I'll give you a little background real quick.
Thanks, Dave.
No, when the city decided to go proactively to remove lead services, this is the part of the private lead service, so that the homeowners cost. At that time, water utilities in the state were not allowed to fund any part of that. We were not allowed to put any ratepayer dollars towards a private lead service replacement. So we were working on our own, and the city, as you might remember, gave a $300,000 grant to us to use for a private lead service replacement. We also obtained 2 grants from the Safe Drinking Water Loan Act that allowed us to get another $800,000. So we had about 1.1 million that we were using for grants. We have to date found 241 private lead services. We have replaced 224, which is 93% of the lead. The private side is gone. We're down to 178 on our side too, so we're getting down there. But what happened is Senator Coles in 2018 introduced legislation that allowed water utilities to fund up to half of a cost of a private lead service. So the other half was mandated to have to come from the property owner. We are within $7,000 to $8,000 of running completely out of our grant money. So we have applied to the Public Service Commission, which is by law that Senator Coles did, we have to do to get permission from them to use our ratepayer money to pay for the half of the lead service replacement. We're gonna have about, right now we know of 10 homes, 8 to 9, 10 homes, depends on what the bids come in for the last services, that need to have their lead service replaced this year, that we're gonna have to go into a financing plan with them. And our Water Commission approved a plan where we're gonna pay up to half of the cost, and then we're going to fund a loan to the property owner of a 5-year period with 0% interest, and we're going to invoice it out of the water utility. So they'll have, like, say our average cost of a private lead service replacement is around $5,000. So that means that we're gonna fund $2,500 of that. The water utility will pay the contractor that, and then the other one will be in $500. They'll get an invoice for $500 for 5 years. We are leaving that city and water utility because we don't want to limit any options that might come. The state's talking about getting some other grants. We don't know if we're gonna get any. We'll be applying and stuff, but all those grants come through the city, not through the water utility. So we have to give ourselves the maximum flexibility. If we can get additional grant money, we'll certainly do that. But right now, it doesn't look like it will be available this year, and we're trying to get these lead services out by December of this year. So that's the background. Does that help?
It helps.
Yeah.
I think the proposal that you're presenting, I think, is very feasible. If you're giving 50%, it's quite a lot. And, if you're giving them the option of 5 years, Grant, how many did you say was left to do?
We figure, I had Justin do me a sheet. There's like 11 properties, but we have about maybe $7,500, and it depends on how the bids come in. We could do one more service and maybe 2. I think we have 17 left, and there's 6 contracts that we know their bid prices because we're waiting for the spring to come so they don't have to dig through 3 feet of frost right now.
Oh, come on! Take all the fun out of it.
I know, it's a little bit more expensive to go through frost. So, but they're ready to go. So we just have the 10 or 11 these homes, and I did look up too. We know that we've been trying to get a hold of these properties since 2016, 2017, and they have not returned our calls. They have not worked with us. They had the availability to get 100% of their service paid, but they chose not to follow through. And we have 6 of the 11 in this list are landlords, and 5 of them are owner occupied. And we just can't, they aren't responding to us. And I'm gonna need the legal department probably to help me with our ordinance to enforce and start having these people say, you have 30 days to replace your lead service. Because we need to, we've been working with our other 200 and some to try to get those out till now. Now we're gonna have to, we're getting down to the hard ones, and we gotta get them out.
Get the lead out.
Get
Yep.
the lead out.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in, Nancy. I think you helped answer my question a little bit, because I was thinking for these last number of properties, the previous ones had it taken care of completely, correct?
Yes,
So now these last number will have to pay half.
that's correct.
And as part of the reason for that, if they would have all jumped on it right away,
They would have
do you
had-
think would there have been enough money to cover all that?
No.
So what happens in a case like that? It's the last ones that sign up that have to deal with that, or? I mean, I'm just trying to understand
What
that.
we've been telling them, we've sent letters, and Justin Hewitt, he's the guy who's been doing the program management for this. We've got letters sent out in 2016, 17, 18, 19. We've sent letters, we've had phone calls, we've tried to talk to them, and, well, I've got 2 bids, I just need 1 more, and I'll get back to you, and then we don't hear from them for over a year and stuff, so. It's like,
Well, no, I understand that
Yeah.
part of it. I'm just trying to reason the fact that most of the people had it taken care of, whereas a small portion don't. And would you say the fact that they were delayed because of whatever reasons they had,
Right.
that didn't bode well for them?
right, if they would have gone at 2016, they would have gotten money.
Right.
We would have been able to pay for it, so.
Was there any way to find out if you knew that this program would cover it 100%? Or was probably no way to really figure that out?
We were, yeah,
the grants?
it was all dependent on the contractor prices of
Oh.
what we were getting. So we did have every property owner get 3 bids, and we took the lowest one always, and it was just pretty high.
But it
So.
seems pretty amazing that you're that close.
Yeah.
To me, that's amazing, because you would think that there'd be a wide discrepancy either way.
Yeah.
So,
So those last ones, I was talking to Almond Story this morning, because I wanted to see if we could suspend the rules and maybe try to get this ordinance through on 1 reading, but, so we can go after these property owners more quickly, but, yeah, we're getting down there, and it's just, their options are, one, if we don't let the water utility pay, then either they have to pay for the whole thing themselves, or the city would have to chip in about $50,000 to get it paid. And I know our budgets here are a little tight, so
Yeah.
I would like to be able to help them. And the law was passed, the Wisconsin Manufacturing Commerce kind of fought, Senator Coles originally asked that we could pay the whole thing, but the business community said, we don't want to pay for lead services on a residential property. They wanted them to be they wanted the owner to take some ownership in their properties and to pay for some of it. And that was the reasoning in the state legislature for doing 50%.
No, I think it's wonderful. We're getting something, they're getting something. So
They're getting at least half.
so the
yeah.
only change is just that and/or water utility.
Right, so that we can keep both options available. Because we're gonna, honestly, we're gonna probably find 1 or 2 every now and then.
Right.
Our inventory has been, really, we've been aggressively looking at those older homes and trying to find them. But even Madison, who replaced it, and, over 11 years, they did 8,000 lead services. They still find an occasional one that they just didn't see, because they're underground,
Yeah, I was always wondering how you found, you can assume that some areas are that way, but how do you find out?
Yeah, and we did, like our customer service, our metering tech guys who are changing out meters and stuff like that, they've gone into almost I said 2,500, 3,000 homes, knocked on doors and said, can we see what's at your meter? And that's what they've been doing.
Okay.
And as they go in, we have a 20-year meter change-out program. We'll be going and checking every house. I mean, we are doing that already, so we'll get to it eventually.
I make a motion, we approve what, your name, Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
That what she's proposing. I make a motion that we support what she's doing.
The
Approval.
motion to approve the ordinance.
Yeah. Like I said, you were talking about time sensitivity though on this too, right? So I don't know, should that be part of the?
I think she has to
We
do it
can't
on
make that
a...
as a motion.
In other words, you're gonna do, in other words, you wanna
That
get
would be
these done as
something we
quick as
take up to
possible.
council.
As quick as we can get the second reading done, you'll be on it.
Yeah.
Either way.
Right, if you,
I mean, we can
and
pull
Lindsay, we've been working,
Just
she's been
not-
awesome to
yeah,
work
we
with.
can make
She
that
helped us
motion.
draft this very quickly, but if we can get the suspension at March 3rd to suspend the second reading, we could get this in right away. And then we can, as soon as the mayor signs it, we can start going forward with trying to get these people to get
Well-
contractors on board.
You can get the lead out to get the lead out.
It's up to you. I mean, I know the mayor asked me to talk to you guys individually. I can do that too. He's not real keen on suspending the rules if it's not necessary, but I just like as much time as I can.
Right.
So,
Well, we'll
And then
figure
the-
that out.
the-
Yeah.
the Public Service Commission, oh yeah,
That's
that's
been
another
slow,
point.
right?
Yeah, that we did submit our application to the Public Service Commission for this program, and they've got it going before the Public Service Commission in the next month, and we've said that we are trying to get this ordinance passed, because this was a requirement of them to change this ordinance so that we could have water utility funded.
Okay.
So, thank you. I forgot about that.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, well, I got no problem putting this on a fast track when we get to council, but
well,
let's get it
That's
passed.
here. Thank you, guys, I appreciate it. I just wanted to give you the background of what's going
Yeah.
on
well,
here.
thanks,
Yeah.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the ordinance and seconded by Alder Stevens. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you for your support.
Yep, thank you. Yep, you're doing a great job. Appreciate it.
Thanks, yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
We're getting down there. Our distribution crews are like only 100, well, I think Doty Street has 60 lead services that we're gonna get out with contractors.
They're not gonna be bored now, are they?
No,
No,
we
they'll
have
be
a
able
lot
to-
of other work.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah. When we're all done, we'll have to celebrate, we'll just have to have a whoosh of water come through and everybody's
We are gonna
sinks.
celebrate, I
Pop,
assure you.
Did the water utilities spend like 8 million to upgrade a lot of those?
It's 8 to 9 million. We were
8 to
doing a
9.
little over $1 million because our side is about $5,000 with our own crews. So we've gone from, I think at the beginning of 2016, we had 1,782 lead services, and now we're down to 178. So we're getting there.
Did the stormwater sewer go up 30% this last year?
Mhm.
The stormwater,
I think
part
that
of
they
the-
did.
a lot of
I'm
people
not
are
in charge of
complaining in my
that.
district about it.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that another time.
That's a matter for another day.
Yep,
Yes,
yep.
that's
Yep.
right.
Just mentioning it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we're on to the last item, I take it?
Yes, sir.
We approve.
Informational, yep, we approved that, yep. Liquor violation report from the police department for February 24th, 2020.
We had no violations during that.
What? Man, we're on a roll.
You know, you make me want to just go out there and do something.
Don't. And don't rent a
Still,
pit
we're
cat
busy
either.
enough.
No pit cats.
Okay, thank you, sir. Motion to receive and place on file by Alder Stevens. Seconded by Alder Vanderleest, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, okay, that is received and placed on
Motion.
file. Hang on.
I got 6:30.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'll make a motion.
We'll give you an hour
We'll do that.
What's it hour?
for her to do this so
Well,
we
she
can
has to do
adjourn.
it. And we have semantics.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Alder Stoyer.
Second.
Seconded by Alder Stevens, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are out of here. Thank you, everyone, good job.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thanks, guys.
I think so, yeah.
Well,
No.